Today we have a shrimp biryani and a apple, cucumber, saffron, date salad.
Super. I think this is one of your best plating.
Thank you, chef.
So, when did you fold in the shrimp? At what point?
Just before I put it in the oven for about 15 minutes.
It's delicious. Okay, you have this incredible DNA of flavor profile that lights up this kitchen every time. So that's what kind of power you deliver.
Coming from you, I'm very humble. Thank you very much.
I agree. I loved the addition of the textural plays with the cashews and that shallot mix. You should bag that, bottle that, whatever. It is so delicious.
Thank you.
I think my comment is as much for the rest of the 8 of you left that Suba is one to watch right now. Thank you, Suba.
Good job, Suba.
Great job, Suba.
Really good.
Hey guys, welcome back to Primetime Bites. Today we're going to make a shrimp biryani with a raita. While we're making this, we're going to drink a Deep Ellum IPA, which is an Indian Pale Ale. It'll go great with this meal. The first thing we're going to do is heat a cast iron skillet over medium heat. Then we're going to toss in 1 sliced onion. After we get the onion in the pan, we're going to mix in some ghee and caramelize these onions until they're nice and golden brown. Once your onions are a nice caramelized deep brown, we're going to mix in about 1/3 cup of cashews and around 1/2 cup of golden raisins. We're going to continue to saute the onions, raisins, and cashews for a few minutes, and then we're going to remove them to a bowl and set aside until we're done with the rest of this pot. Of all recipes that I've done, I'm glad this is the one they post the official recipe for, because this is a little outside of my wheelhouse. If you haven't picked up on it yet, I halved the recipe from the one that they published. So for this part, we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of fennel seed, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seed, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin, 3 cardamom pods, 4 whole cloves, and 1 stick of cinnamon. Saute this for a second, and then we're going to mix in another 1/2 cup of ghee and melt it in the pan. Once you have your aromatics fragrant, we're going to add in about 1 medium onion that's been diced, 1 jalapeno chili that's been diced, 2 Roma tomatoes that have been diced, and about 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. You're going to keep this on medium heat, mixing fairly constantly until it reduces into a paste. After that, we've combined 1/2 tablespoon of ginger, 1/2 tablespoon of minced garlic, and about the juice of 1 lime into a bowl and let everything kind of combine there. We're going to mix that into this mixture as well. We've had about 1 cup of basmati rice sitting over in hot water while we've been making this. We're going to drain it and then put this rice into the mixture. Once we get the rice incorporated, we're going to combine another 3/4 cup to 1 cup of boiling water. And we're going to let this sit on the heat, stirring occasionally until your rice is cooked through. It could take 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep checking it throughout, and once it's done, we're going to add in our yogurt. We're going to mix in the yogurt and then continue to let it cook for a little bit longer. Once it's well combined and everything seems to be fairly well cooked, we're going to mix in our shrimp. I've already peeled and deveined the shrimp, so we're going to toss it right in here, give it a couple swirls, get it incorporated. And then the last thing we have to do is recombine our onion, cashew, and raisins. And then we're going to take the cast iron pan, throw it in the oven on 350. It's going to take 10 to 15 minutes for the shrimp to cook through. While that's going, we're going to make the raita. Since we got the shrimp in the oven, we're going to go ahead and grab another drink. The raita is fairly straightforward. Most of your effort is going to come into the prep of dicing all of the vegetables and fruits going into this. So the first thing we're going to do is take our 1/2 of a green apple that we've diced, toss it in the bowl. Then we're going to take the diced cucumber, throw it in, along with the 1/2 of the red apple. Our red apple was a good deal bigger than a green apple, so I'm not going to put all of that in here right now. We're going to take our 1/4 cup of diced onion that I actually pulled out and saved from the biryani mixture. So toss that in and then follow it up with the diced dates that we've put in here. The next thing we're going to do is grab some plain yogurt. I have about 1 cup here. We're going to dump the yogurt in, and then we're going to give this a pretty good mix and swirl. Next, we're going to add in the juice of about a half a lime, followed by 2 teaspoons of sugar. I went a little bit heavier on the sugar, which worked out in the end here. We're also going to add a half a pinch of saffron. After combining and mixing everything, the mixture didn't look quite right. I was a little light on yogurt, so I'm adding another somewhere in the range of a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup more yogurt into the mixture, just to get the ratios a little better. And you can do that as well if your mixture looks a little off. And then we're going to put a few turns of pepper from the pepper mill in here, followed by a heavy pinch of salt just to round out the flavor. Toss it a couple more times to get the salt and pepper mixed, and we have a beautiful Raita. All right, now we're going to get to the fun part, which is plating this dish. I've elected to take a long rectangular plate combined with this square bowl to plate this dish. We're going to grab the bowl, and then we're going to put in a couple spoonfuls of the Raita. You want to fill this up to where it's about even with the top of the bowl. Because we're going to put a few garnishes on it, we don't want it heaping too much. I took the extra half of my green apple, and then I sliced it into 4 or 5 extra slices here. We're going to use this mostly as a garnish for this bowl. Just stick them in there, give it some height, 3, 4, 5, whatever looks right. We're just trying to give some color to the dish here. Now that our shrimp is completely cooked, we're going to pull the cast iron skillet from the oven. We're going to set it on the table. We're going to taste it. It needs a little salt and pepper, so let's add some salt and pepper to it. Then we're going to grab our serving spoon, take a good spoon. We don't want any shrimp in this first one. Put a pie. For some people that aren't familiar with Indian food, there are some spices that you don't want to eat. Typically, you just eat around these on the dish. But if you're serving to people that aren't used to eating Indian food, you may want to pull these out on the side as you're plating the dish. And one of the last things we're going to do is take the shrimp. I'm going to take the shrimp, put tail side up, and make almost a crown. All right, let's eat everything. Everybody's favorite part. So if you look at it, I think it's a good looking dish. First, we're going to grab a bite of the Raita. It tastes good. You can really get the pops of the cucumber. It stands out a little bit more than the apples in this dish. So I'm glad I added the extra yogurt and the sugar. A+, great side dish. All right, now let's dig into the biryani. The shrimp is cooked great. No issues there. It's cooked through. The flavor is there. You can always make this with any other kind of protein. You can put chicken in it or whatever you feel like cooking into this dish. The rice and onion mixture is great. The cashews give texture, flavor. All the seasoning in here just really comes through. The raisins, I don't have any issues with anything in this dish. The whole thing is delicious, and I would definitely make it again. Let's finish off our beer. Crush this can. It was a great dish. I had a good time. We're out, guys. See you next time.